Let me look up Zoom. Okay. Who's in it? Is it
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen?
Yeah. It's
Man.
pretty great. He's like the Flash, but he's old and fat.
Oh my god.
He like stirs his coffee with his finger and it goes real fast.
This fucking kid.
Yeah.
Isn't he in like...
He's in the Santa Claus movies.
And
He is?
Yeah.
I was gonna say he was
Isn't
in
he?
the Cat in the Hat.
Is he?
He is definitely... Oh, yeah.
Boy.
Oh, that is him.
He is... Chevy Chase is in
Yeah, I
Oh
forgot.
my
He
God.
is,
Courtney
yeah.
Cox.
He's like a scientist.
Kate
in it.
Mara. What the fuck?
Yeah, man, there's some actors in this.
Huh.
But his brother's like reverse Zoom, basically.
It got a 4% on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes.
no,
It's
That's
actually really good. It's actually
Okay.
really good, I
It's
promise.
not that good.
Yeah, it's actually really good, I promise.
Yeah, no,
All
it's
right, I'll watch
fantastic.
it. I'll just
It's fun. Kind of.
quit my job
Yeah,
and watch
And
this,
watch this
for the
full
rest
time.
of my life.
yeah. Just on repeat over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, this is the Off the Shelf podcast. My name is Josh,
I'm Vinny.
I'm Jason.
and we're talking
Today-
about Zoom
No,
again.
no, we're not. We're not talking about Zoom. Instead, we're going to talk about a beautiful comic.
Yes, a lesser speedster
Unless
is in this one.
Don't worry.
New
Yeah.
Patrick Harris is not a lesser speedster.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about DC: The New Frontier.
Yes.
There is an animated movie called Justice League: The New Frontier,
Yeah.
which is pretty much an adaptation of this, minus a few things because this is a very large book.
This book is giant. Like, not
this-
only thick, but it's like the
Yes,
pages are
this is the
huge.
absolute edition of the book because this might be my favorite comic
Yeah.
ever. I love this book, and I have two editions of it. Here's the normal one. Here's the absolute. So we got two books to look through. We could pass this one around.
How long did it take to fully publish New Frontier?
That's a great question.
Like, how long was New Frontier going?
I can't, maybe a year, because I'm pretty sure it's only a few issues.
No.
It's only like it's no more than like 10 issues, but I think it might be only 6. But they're really big issues. Like they're not like the usual standard size.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean the issues are probably like 30 pages each instead of like 12.
So I noticed here we're starting off with some dinosaurs, and they got me hooked because
Perfect, Josh. You
I
like
love
dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs are awesome.
You're
dude.
gonna get to
Yeah.
see the Justice League versus some dinosaurs.
That's crazy.
That's
like-
Land of the lost.
so DC: The New
You ever
Frontier.
seen the movie Dinosaurs?
Yes, of course.
I love
Movies are
dinosaurs.
sad, bro.
So DC: The New Frontier is written and drawn by Darwin Cook.
By Charles Darwin.
By Charles Darwin. No, Darwin Cook, who
Blessed be his name.
bless his soul. Sadly, Darwin Cook is no longer with us, but he will always be one of my favorite authors and artists. I told you about Batman Ego
Yes.
once,
yeah.
and he drew and wrote that as
That
well.
was-
I gotta
was
get
a
that
good
one
story.
Catwoman
story. He does.
Catman.
Yeah.
From Fairly Odd
Fairly Odd Parents.
Catwoman one in Vegas. Sorry, not one in Vegas.
It's
Catman,
big. Selena's Big Score.
Yeah,
Is
Selena's
that
Big
it?
Score, that's
Beautiful.
it.
Everything he writes is beautiful and draws.
it looks great.
Yeah,
I mean,
he has. Now he really brings a time period. Like his art cements these characters in a time period, and the story as well takes place. It begins in 1945. So just like the original
Ah,
comics.
yes, when the dinosaurs were around in 1945.
Of course.
Depends who you talk to.
Yes. DC: The New Frontier begins in 1945, Chapter 1, Analog Heroes. This book is... me and Jason always call this book the Bible,
It's
because it is just
the
for me,
same.
the Bible and the pinnacle, a true love letter to DC
It's
Comics.
like in the beginning.
In the beginning, because all the heroes started in the 40s.
Yeah.
So it really, it brings them back to that time period. So we start in the Pacific, like the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
On an island.
What other Pacific?
Well, no other.
Sure.
But we start with a group called the Losers, which are kind of like the Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Because back in the day, there
There's
was...
like a big green man and Will Smith.
No, they're just soldiers. They're like post-World War II soldiers who go to this island because there's a disturbance. Or I think they're trying to find a scientist who was in a ship who went missing.
Okay.
So they go to this island. Turns out there's some motherfucking dinosaurs on this island. They think that's a little peculiar. Dinosaurs should not be around anymore. Now, all the losers... Now, you might recognize the losers go to rescue a certain character. You might recognize Rick Flag, who is of the Suicide Squad. But this is Rick Flag Sr., and his son will be the Rick Flag of the Suicide Squad. So this is like a proto-Suicide Squad who go to join... Or who go to this island, find dinosaurs, and none of them, except for Rick Flag, escape. But before they die, one of the losers, I believe...
they all get eaten by dinosaurs?
They all get eaten and killed by dinosaurs except for Flag. But before they die, the last survivor writes like a big letter on a cave wall called The Losers, where he just tells them about their greatest like heroic feats and like fighting for this country.
So, I'm sorry to pull away from this, but I've also been revolutionized. I've learned a new fact. There's another Catwoman run that Darwin Cook has done.
With Ed Brubaker.
With Ed Brubaker.
Yes.
Called Catwoman Trail of the Catwoman.
Yes.
I had not known this. I did not know this.
Yeah, Darwin Cook has been like all over DC Comics. He also, a little fact here, Batman Beyond, the awesome intro, he's responsible for that epic theme song and
there
intro.
There can only be
really?
one man
yeah.
cool enough responsible for the epicness that is the Batman Beyond intro.
Also, like the way Batman the Animated Series like looks, he had something to do with like the creation of that show. And in Batman Ego, you can really tell.
I like
like
Batman Beyond.
It's just it's the same.
I have a Batman Beyond action figure.
You do.
You're the coolest kid
You're
ever.
getting robbed.
Okay.
So now we pick up.
Wait, that's the one with the red symbol, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Bruce Wayne's old.
Yeah.
It's in the future.
I think
That show's
The
awesome.
Joker from it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Joker's like Tim Drake Robin or something.
Who's
Oh,
also,
is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's an awesome
Who's
movie.
also the prude?
Who's
also
the prune?
Oh, the prune.
So after the death of the losers, here's this awesome image here of, I believe, Cloud. John Cloud was a loser, and he's the one who, I believe,
John
jumps
Cloud
into...
Van Damme.
John Cloud Van Damme. Yeah. I believe he's the one who
No.
jumps into
Not
the
from
dinosaur
Mortal
mouth.
Kombat.
So then...
I mean Street Fighter.
So then we pick up, it's about late 40s, early 50s, and where have all the superheroes gone? After World War II, there was the Justice Society of America with Jay Garrick, Dr. Fate.
They retired.
They didn't retire, they were kicked out by the government. The government,
No more funding.
because of the Red Scare and the communists, they couldn't trust the Justice Society. They didn't know who they wouldn't take their masks off, so they ran them out.
Fair enough.
And pretty much being a superhero was declared illegal. So characters like the Spectre left world. Captain Marvel also left the world.
Isn't that the plot of The Incredibles?
Pretty much.
So then, so certain characters leave Earth. Like Captain Marvel leaves Earth, and you find out Captain Marvel or Shazam actually hangs out with like the Spectre and Dr. Fate and other magic characters because Shazam is magic. Characters like Batman, who already is a vigilante, continues to be a vigilante. Wonder Woman and Superman start working for the government, and they help in like Vietnam and stuff, and like the Korean War. So then we pick up with a little flashback.
So this Justice League is essentially just kind of like knitting its way into older history.
Yes.
This is just kind of like taking the DC universe and sliding it back on the time scale.
Exactly. Or kind of taking it pre Crisis on Infinite Earths, where like Superman and Batman all existed during like World War II. Not that Batman's gonna charge into World War II in the Batmobile or anything, but they were all around during that time. So we pick up with a little flashback of a young boy named Hal Jordan who runs into a bar to see his...
I know him.
Yes, here he is right here. He runs into a bar to which he is too young to order anything, of course. He's like
hits
12.
His head on a bar.
No, he goes into a bar or a club, and in this bar there's like his favorite pilot, who is not his dad.
Amelia Earhart.
No. Yeah, she went missing and ended up at this club. And so he goes to this pilot and he's like, I'm your biggest fan. You know, my dad's a pilot.
Yeah.
He's wearing his dad's flight jacket.
How was a Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah. And his dad flew in like World War I I think. And the pilot guy is like, little Hal Jordan, one day I bet you're gonna see the stars if you keep like working your way to being a pilot, doing what you want.
And he's like, I can see the stars every night. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Meanwhile, Gotham City, 1952, a character named Hourman, who...
Asshole.
No, this is classic Hourman where he wasn't an asshole.
Oh.
He could take like a formula or like a pill or something and he'd have superpowers for 1 hour.
Steroids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cheating.
So he's being chased by the Gotham City Police Department and they're like running on rooftops and he literally just falls to his death.
Oh.
Damn.
Just like in Watchmen, this is a very Watchmen-esque book. Like,
Seems like it. Yeah.
Watchmen is a deconstruction of what being a superhero is, and this book is kind of like a reconstruction of what being a superhero should be. But just like Watchmen, Darwin Cook kind of writes like a mini novel sometimes through the book where it kind of just fills in certain things about America and things that you should know while reading it. Certain characters like Iris West, who is Barry Allen's girlfriend, like she wrote this piece on what's going on in America. You see Batman and Superman, they used to be chums, but something happened and they don't seem to get along anymore. Maybe because Superman's working with the president or with the government and Batman's, kind of an anarchist, vigilante.
Or like Batman threatened to kill Lois Lane.
That didn't happen here. So we pick up classic Hal Jordan. He's a pilot now. He's an adult man. This is post-Korean War. The war's over. He gets shot down by Koreans who don't know that the war is over yet, and he lands. Meanwhile, Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. She's reporting on the war, and Jimmy Olsen's a little war photographer. So Hal, his plane's crashing. He ejects, and he lands in like a canyon of some kind, and he happens to land on top of a Korean soldier who's just like smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
And the Korean soldier is immediately like, and like tries to kill him.
That's the sound he makes.
Yeah, he's like, and he tries to kill him. And Hal is like, no, the war is over. But the guy doesn't speak English. And Hal Jordan is very like, during his time in the war, he didn't kill anybody because he didn't believe that what they were doing over there was worth killing for. But this man is like coming at him with a knife. Hal's like, please, the war is over. I don't want to hurt you. And the guy's on top of him about to stab him.
Yeah.
And Hal Jordan pulls out a gun and is like, please, I don't want to hurt you. Like, and his internal monologue is like, if only I could remember how to say the war is over in Korean. And he's forced to pull the trigger and kill the guy. The blood is just like soaked on Hal. And eventually he's found by like Lois and the other soldiers. And all he can think is he remembers how to say the war is over in Korean. Now, something important about this book is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are in it, but they are not the focus. The real focus of this book, this is a Green Lantern book. It's also a Martian Manhunter book and a Flash book. Those are like the three pivotal characters of this book. So we are introduced to Martian Manhunter.
He looks scary.
He is horrifying. This is how he looks on Mars. This is what Martians look like. And he is brought to Earth by this scientist who didn't mean to bring him to Earth.
Okay.
He accidentally brought him here, and just the horrific sight of Martian Manhunter gave the guy a heart attack.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah.
Don't you hate when you're sciencing and you're like, holy shit.
A
I summoned
Martian.
an alien.
Yeah.
Accidentally. Wait, aliens can be summoned?
Yeah, the guy's doing like, I don't know.
Alchemy?
Sure. Sure.
No, I'm pretty sure he was trying to transport something to Mars.
You tired, buddy?
Just a little bit. I'm pretty sure he's trying to transport something to Mars.
It's something like that.
And he accidentally brings something back. And
it's Martian Manhunter.
And
He's sending like, what do they call that when they send like just a bunch of Earth stuff into space? Just so if it happens to hit a planet. No. It's like a time capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe he's doing that, but
he's
he
sending
brings
like an Atari into space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, back in 1950 something, it'd be like, what did they have back then? Like a radio?
Yeah. Racism.
Racism. There will be racism and themes like that in this book, and it's handled perfectly. It's not offensive. Darwin Cook is like. He's an expert at stuff this.
Yeah.
Darwin Cook isn't being racist. He's
informing about the time.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So Martian Manhunter is brought here, and the guy has a heart attack. But the guy's like, I'm sorry, whoever you are, please forgive me. I didn't mean to bring you here. And then the guy dies, and Martian Manhunter's like, am I that ugly? He doesn't say that, but...
Yeah, he does.
Right
now.
He hits the gym, he has a good regiment going, and he has a clear face, and he's like, you know what, thank you. For giving me the kick in the pants.
He looks like a prune.
He does. He's prune man. The prune.
The prune.
So, meanwhile, in like Indochina, Superman arrives to see like a village that has been, not really a village, but more like a camp of soldiers, and all the soldiers are murdered.
Oh.
And there's
by Superman?
No. Superman shows up and the soldiers are murdered.
Yeah.
And there's like a party, like there's a big fire outside, and there's a party going on inside this hut. And Superman goes inside, and Wonder Woman is there. And Wonder Woman and a bunch of like Chinese women are partying and drinking, and Superman's like, what the hell is going on? To which all the women pull guns out on Superman, and Superman's like, tell them that they'll only be wasting their bullets. And Wonder Woman's like, Superman, she calls him Cal, come like drink with us, party with us. And he's like, no. Like, what happened here, Diana?
Wait, can Superman get drunk? Does alcohol do anything to him?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think he can.
Because like the Flash, right, he can't.
If he could drink like so much.
Does he need like Red Sun alcohol?
Maybe something like that.
He can only drink Gatorade and vodka mixed together.
Yeah.
Red Gatorade and vodka mixed together.
So Superman's like, what happened here? Why are those soldiers dead? Why are you partying after like all this death? And Wonder Woman's like, I was sent out here by the government, and I found these soldiers who had these women in cages, and they used we're on the same page.
Yeah, I've been following you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman's like, I freed the women from their captors, or the soldiers who captured them, and the soldiers were using them for like horrible stuff.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman beat up all the soldiers, freed the women, and gave the women the guns, and let the women do what they wanted to the soldiers. So, and Superman's like, you let them kill the soldiers. You let them do this? And Wonder Woman's like, the government wasn't going to help these people. They needed to help themselves. So I let them do what they wanted to do. And Superman's like, that's not how we do things. We are superheroes. And Wonder Woman's like, well, we work for the government now, Clark, you know? You don't, like, this is justice. So either party with us, or there's the door. And Superman's like, you're a bitch, and leaves. Also, I love Darwyn Cooke's Wonder Woman. I think she is so, like...
cool.
She's perfect.
Yeah.
She's very tall, also, like...
She's taller than Superman.
She is taller than Superman, like a good, like, a few inches. And she's very, like, she just seems powerful. And I love that. Meanwhile, Martian Manhunter was in Gotham City. So he, like, takes the form... He's a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
So Darwyn Cooke... Not Darwyn Cooke, oh my god.
Darwyn Cooke.
Shapeshift.
Martian Manhunter takes the form of the guy...
autobiographical.
Yeah. He takes the form of the guy that he gave a heart attack to. And he, like, found the guy's, like, house.
Okay.
And starts just, like, living there because he has nowhere else to go. And he starts watching the TV. He starts... You're following. Nice.
Yeah.
He starts watching the TV. I love this because he keeps changing the channel, and he takes the form of, like, whatever he sees on the TV, like the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, he turns into Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny, the old, like, Native American shows or whatever, old detective shows. And he ends up becoming a detective for the Gotham City Police Department. And his Martian name was, like, Jean or something. So he takes John Jones.
Okay.
Then we get to see a little... kind of like a montage of, like, through the years, like 1956, 57, you see, like, the president at the time, Eisenhower. He's talking about what's going on in America. And meanwhile, a certain lab forensic analyst or something got struck by lightning and fell into some chemicals and can now run at the speed of light.
Well, he struck himself with lightning.
Well, no, not at this time. Forget everything you know about DC Comics.
I can't.
I know.
Jason, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm just very intently watching.
I know.
Okay,
I love this Absolute Edition because I feel like a kindergarten teacher, just like, here are the big pictures. It's beautiful. I recommend getting the Absolute Edition. It's like $100 though.
The pages are much glossier.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful book. You get to see the Flash, like, you know, running around for the first few times, and he's reading a classic, The Flash comic with Jay Garrick. And you could say, since he was a fighter in World War II, they made comics
Oh yeah,
for
you're
him.
right. That could
So
be
that
true.
makes sense to me.
Sure.
Wait, don't they ever? Shouldn't they show Jay Garrick over there? Hey, yo, he's over there.
Jay Garrick doesn't appear in this book. They mention him with the Justice Society and stuff, but you don't like see him, which I think they don't really talk about the Justice Society a lot. Dr. Fate and the Spectre show up, but that's kind of the extent of it. Probably because like that was then, and these are the new heroes of today.
Barry seems pretty young at this point.
Yeah, you could say
When
he's
he
like
gets his powers.
like early. Yeah, he's like early 20s, pretty young man. So then we see Detective John Jones and his partner
On the beat.
and they're on their way to a church where a cult has kidnapped a little child and are ready
boy.
to make a sacrifice. And they barge in to see Batman.
With the kids.
Always with the kids.
Yeah.
So they barge in and see Batman kicking the shit out of all these guys. And this is like classic Batman. The thing is, Batman back then had like little purple gloves, and his ears stuck out a little more. It was a very simple design.
Yeah.
He stole his mom's oven mitt.
He stole his mom's oven mitts, or Alfred's oven mitts. And, Alfred doesn't appear in this book.
Oh, that's sad.
I don't think
What?
so.
Okay, I don't want to read it anymore.
Yeah. So Batman saves this little boy. And of course the little boy's like, like, get away from me, you're a scary Batman. And,
Not a cool kid.
not a cool kid.
You should have asked me Robin.
Oh man, don't worry. There's,
What if that kid ends up being Robin?
well, he can't, he's blonde.
Oh.
So, during this whole debacle with the cultists, a fire is set. Like, the church catches on fire, and Martian Manhunter starts freaking out. Because Martian Manhunter's, like, weakness is fire. And he starts freaking out, and his partner is like, John, like, get up! What are you doing? And Batman defeats the cultists and tries to rescue the boy, and the boy's freaking out. And the other detective's like, stop, you're scaring him. Like, get away from him, dude.
He says, why don't you crawl back into your hole, freak?
Yeah.
Go eat some
So
rats.
romantic.
Go eat some rats.
That's what he says.
And so
Rats.
they're like ready to clean up the crime scene and get the little boy out of here when all of a sudden one of the cultists starts like speaking, and he looks pretty dead.
Yeah,
Like,
he does.
And he starts speaking. He's like, "You swine will be judged."
This is Robert Pattinson's Batman. That guy is a
This guy is murdered.
So-
Something in the way. He's like, "You swine will be judged. Without the center, there is no holding." And then he just like passes out, I guess. So then we get a little boxing match between good old Ted Wildcat Grant versus Muhammad Ali.
My main man.
And
Wildcat, the best fighter in the
Wildcat
universe.
is a Justice Society member, and he is one of the best fighters, and he's getting his ass kicked by Cassius Clay or Muhammad Ali. They call him Cassius Clay because that's his name. He's not Muhammad Ali yet because he's still a new fighter. But Wildcat pulls it together and kicks the shit out of him. At this fight, certain characters you might recognize: Selena Kyle, Lois Lane,
Ooh.
Oliver Queen, who is Green Arrow,
Oh, okay.
and Mr. Bruce Wayne are all attending the fight. And they're all chums. They're all hanging out. Selena is on a date with Bruce, and Ollie, I guess, is on a date with Lois. Or maybe Lois is just there, like, because she's a reporter. They're hanging out. I just love Darwin
This guy-
Cook's art so much.
This guy looks like Superman.
This guy?
The guy fighting.
Oh, yeah. There he is. It's Superman.
It's him.
Just as strong.
Yeah, I love this moment where Muhammad Ali punches Wildcat like so hard that he's kind of knocked out, and they're like, "Get up, Wildcat!" And he's like in a dreamland where like these hot babes are like feeding him like martinis, and he's in the pool and he's like
Feeding him martinis.
serving him martinis. He's drinking
out of a
it.
coconut. Yeah, right.
Oh, that's a coconut. My apologies.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You shouldn't have given me this book.
I know. Every flaw I make, you're gonna call me out on it. So Wildcat wins the fight.
Is Wildcat like the old Superman? Like, is that his
No,
role
he's-
in the
he's
old
like-
Justice Society?
Honestly, you could say he's kind of like the old Batman.
Oh,
He's
okay.
like a cat-themed man who fought
Is he cat?
Wildcat.
Oh, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
He's like, he trained characters like Black Canary and Huntress.
And if you watch Batman Brave and the Bold,
He's
trained
played by
Batman.
John DiMaggio.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I love John DiMaggio.
He's a beautiful.
He does his
He's a
voice-
beautiful man.
He is,
He's
yeah.
such a good
he
voice.
left his voice to so many beautiful characters and
Yeah.
adaptations.
Yeah. So then we pick up with Barry Allen, who is at
So this
home.
guy ends up winning the fight.
Yeah, Wildcat wins the fight.
Because
Yeah.
he's that guy.
Yeah, and he meets up with Bruce and Oliver and everybody because they're all homies, and they're at this like nice nightclub listening to some not jazz, but probably some like Frank Sinatra type
Jizz
music, jizz
From Star Wars.
Yeah.
I love this.
Meanwhile, in Central City, Barry Allen, who is now the Flash, he's just chilling at home watching TV. He's watching Johnny Thunder, which is another Justice Society character. Now, the Justice Society characters, they don't play a role, but there's like a bunch of hints and nods to those characters.
Just like so you know they exist.
Exactly. And so at the same party or club that Bruce and Wildcat were, Iris West is there. And she's also a reporter like Lois, and good old Captain Cold breaks in. They're in Vegas, I should say. Captain Cold breaks in, and he's like, give me all your money, And he like freezes Iris, and Barry's on the phone with her, and he hears, and he, flashes up.
Does he make any ice puns?
Probably just like standard ones.
Yeah.
Like, chill out.
In the movie,
Chill
Neil
out.
Patrick Harris voices the Flash.
Yes, in the
Really?
animated movie, Neil
Oh,
Patrick
okay.
Harris. The voice acting in the movie,
Didn't you say
It's
that
beautiful.
he looked like Neil Patrick Harris?
Yes.
He kind of does, yeah.
Because honestly, a young Neil Patrick Harris could play could play a killer Barry Allen.
I
Honestly.
agree.
Sure.
And so you see Barry throw the Flash suit on and run.
Yeah, he's already got the ring.
Yeah, he's already got everything. Darwin Cook doesn't waste any time.
How does he know?
Does he know what?
How does he know that things are going down at this club?
Because he was on the phone with Iris when
okay,
Captain Cold breaks in.
yeah.
So he's like running, and Darwin Cook does such a great job of describing how Flash's powers work. He's like, I love this moment where Darwin Cook narrates like, I wait until I'm clear of the city limits before I hit the sound barrier, because last time I did it, I shattered windows and like probably killed people. I love it. And he gets to Vegas and kicks the shit out of Captain Cold. Captain Cold has like bombs all around the city, and he's like, you gotta catch all the bombs or like the city's gonna blow up. Flash catches all of them, but Captain Cold said there's like 6 of them, and Barry could only find 5. Turns out the 6th one was just like a wild goose chase. Like there wasn't a 6th one. But Barry's a smart guy, and he gets back to Captain Cold and is like, I found out that it was a wild goose chase, so you're going back to jail. And he like destroys Captain Cold's gun. And
Finally.
yeah, and freezes him. That was
He
just
freezes Captain Cold?
he does freeze Captain Cold, and Captain Cold's defeated. In the animated movie, Captain Cold, and I thought it was in this book as well, but Captain Cold, he says like a similar thing the cult guy said about the center, kind of brainwashed by whatever the center is. And I'll tell you now, the center has to do with those dinosaurs.
Oh. It's like the center of the world or something.
The center, we'll learn about it later, but, long story short, the center is like a cosmic alien type dinosaur being of a planet. It's
Okay.
It's like a
So
like a cosmic
living
being.
island.
No, don't bring it to X-Men. It's like a cosmic entity.
The living island that
Yeah,
he denies existing.
No, I hate that. The center is like a cosmic entity
Okay.
that has made its way to Earth and adopted, and it made its way to Earth long ago and adopted like dinosaurs, but it wants to like get back to space.
This is where they
Okay.
filmed Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, the center, do you mind if we film a TV show on your back? They're like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, literally. So Hal Jordan is dealing with like the grief of like killing that man, the Korean man. He hangs out with his pal Ace, who's a member of the Challengers of the Unknown, which is kind of like DC's version of the Fantastic Four. They're kind of a big part in this book. They help in like the final battle, but they're just the Fantastic Four. I'm not going to get into that. You seem tired.
I'm a little tired. I'm a little sleepy boy. But I love New Frontier, so
It's like a bedtime story.
I know. Let
Yeah.
me tuck you in, Jason. He's palling around with his friend Ace, who's a member of the Challengers of the Unknown, which are like DC's Fantastic Four. They just do like space stuff.
Did they get their powers by going into space and getting space dust in their lungs?
Something like that.
heavy water.
Heavy water. Yeah, hard water.
And then one of their friends was mad that he didn't get powers.
So he becomes
So
green.
He becomes green and he shoots
Wow,
green
wow.
lightning at them.
He
Yeah.
also wants to bang the one guy's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the government sends in a certain suicide squad into a particular area, the area where the losers were, and they are attacked. Yeah, and they are attacked also by dinosaurs.
Okay.
This big old pterodactyl.
Yeah, biting this guy in half.
Oh yeah. We pick up in Tennessee. Like, this book kind of hops around a lot.
It does, yeah.
But, you know, every kind of chapter or the setting it's in, it's never like, it takes its time when it's telling that story. It's really well paced when you're reading. Like, I read this book, the first time I read it in 2 days. And then I got the Absolute Edition and I read it in like 1 day. I just sat down and just read through it, and it's like perfectly paced. But so we pick up in Tennessee with a man named John Henry. And John Henry is an African-American, like, steel mill worker. Good with a sledgehammer. But he's not good with the locals.
Like steel.
Oh, yeah. He's not... the locals, the local white folk of the area are not fans of him. And they end up burning down his house, killing his wife and kid, and they lynch him. But he survives.
Wait, what?
He breaks out of the lynching.
Okay.
Like, it's the KKK. The KKK get him.
You just both different.
He's also a jacked guy, so maybe he just, like, broke out of it. I don't know.
Sure.
They send in the government sends in the challengers of the unknown, and they make it farther than the Suicide Squad did, and they find this is the story of the losers.
You mean wait, what? Who makes it? Oh, the challengers.
The challengers.
Yeah.
The Suicide Squad try to go in and they die.
Okay.
The challengers are better,
Yeah.
so they make it, and they find this is the story of the losers, which the guy in the beginning wrote. They're also attacked by dinosaurs, but, you know, they challenge the unknown, so they escape.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan is brought in to Ferris Air. He's in love with Carol Ferris, who is the daughter of the guy who owns Ferris Air.
Yeah.
And they bring him in because he's a really good pilot, and they want to send him to space because it's almost the 60s. America wants to beat the Russians to space.
We've driven to space several times before America did it. So.
Yeah. So Colonel Rick Flag Sr. is like, Hal Jordan, welcome to the team. And Rick Flag and Hal don't really get along. Because Rick Flag is like, I will kill anybody. He's like Peacemaker. He's like, I will kill anyone to get peace. And Hal's like, I don't believe in killing unless I really have to. I don't believe in it.
Not to.
Not at all. So here, this is the revenge of John Henry. He puts on a mask and he wears the noose that they tied around him as like his symbol, and he grabs a sledgehammer and, you know, gets revenge for his family. Burns down like the KKK club or the church.
Club. The clubhouse.
The KKK clubhouse.
The Club.
Yeah.
Oh.
Real cool. Oh, God.
It is
Cool
pretty
the K.
cool.
Yeah.
Guy. What's his name?
John Henry.
John Henry, yeah.
He
looks
is
cool.
I love John Henry. His story is like very short, but it's very like, you know, important.
Impactful,
It's very impactful. Martian Manhunter ends up going to the movies. Like, he's disguised as the detective. He's in his human form. Mm-hmm. And he goes to the movies and watches like an old like Superman animated cartoon, and he's like, wow, people really look up to this Superman guy. Maybe I should be a hero. Maybe, like, I'm being a detective in the worst city ever.
Yeah.
But maybe I could do more. And eventually he will adopt, like, a more super heroic look. Like the normal Martian Manhunter look with a cape and everything. And he's like, I adopted a look that was more familiar to the Americans, like Superman. Even though Superman is also an alien.
And
but,
his first form was just grotesque.
Yeah, and his normal form is like a monster. At the movie theater,
he can choose any form, and he chose to be bald.
He could have chose to have a mullet like a true king.
Yeah.
He could have. So he watches like the Superman animated movie. Like, it was like a little before the actual movie. And he watches the Challenging the Unknown, which is like this is the origin you get for the Challenges of the Unknown, told in like a black and white style movie. And it shows them fighting aliens. And Martian Manhunter sees Hollywood's depiction of aliens and is like, that is hilarious. And he's cackling in the movie theater when everyone else is like in the middle of a serious movie, and everyone's like, shut up. And then Martian Manhunter gets home. Oh, I should also mention, at the cult where they rescued that kid, one of the cult leaders had a book which mentioned more of the center and more of like why they were doing what they were doing. And so Martian Manhunter, or John, gets home and he's greeted by Batman. and Batman is in his house and gives him like this necklace or this amulet that another cult member had. And Batman's like, I don't know if I could trust you. I know you're not human. I'm watching you. And like I've been watching you
So
for...
why did he give him the amulet then?
Because Batman's like, I've been watching you. You're not corrupt. I know you're not human, but part of me thinks I can trust you.
Okay.
And he has this amazing line, which is delivered beautifully in the animated movie. He says, it took a $70,000 sliver of meteor to stop the one in Metropolis. With you, all I need is a penny for a book of matches.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then Martian Manhunter turns back into an alien and it's like, oh god!
Yeah. Exposing him like that.
Yeah, you see Wonder Woman and Superman at Washington, D.C. Eisenhower's giving them medals, and Eisenhower gives Wonder Woman a medal. And then behind the scenes, like, they go back inside, and he's like, you know, you really you're a great hero, Wonder Woman, but, you know, we got Superman. We don't really need more heroes.
I would be Wonder Woman's stay-at-home husband.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's okay.
This Wonder Woman?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'll do the laundry. I'll do everything. You go superhero. You go slay queen.
Yeah. And he's pretty much like, you're a great soldier, but I don't know if we need you anymore. And then he's like,
Bullshit,
why not?
I know, right? And then he's like,
in my eyes, Wonder Woman kicks Superman's ass.
well, that's because you're a bitch.
No,
Yeah,
Superman's a pussy.
No, you're a pussy. It depends who's writing.
Because she can fly, right? Or
She
she's
can-
got the invisible jet or something.
Both.
Wonder Woman can do whatever she wants, man.
Like kick
Like-
Superman's ass.
Like make out with me. Anyway, so anyway,
Is that what she wants or what you want?
definitely not what she wants. But she also doesn't want to be talked down like a dog
Right.
from Eisenhower. And
I don't think
Eisenhower's
anyone talks down to her. She's like 7 feet tall.
yeah, Eisenhower's looking up at her and is like, you remember that old saying, like, old soldiers never die, they just fade away. Like, maybe it's time for you to just fade away, Wonder Woman. So she's like, oh,
That's pretty
what a
rude.
prick. Carol Ferris brings Hal Jordan down to, like, Ferris Air, where they're working on more, like, spaceship-type NASA things. You see, Ferris Air has a deal with NASA where they're going to go into space, like, real soon. And Hal Jordan meets this guy named King Faraday. Who is this guy right here? Where are
skipped
you?
ahead. I went to the next page.
Oh, so King Faraday's here, and he's like the head of all this. And he's like, Hal Jordan, I knew your father. Your father was a great pilot in World War One. I hear you didn't want to fight. Like, you fought in the Korean War, but you didn't really fight. Like, you helped us, but you were too afraid to take a life. And Hal's like, I'm not afraid. If I have to do that, there has to be a good reason. And King Faraday's like, oh, so you don't believe like helping America is a good reason? And Hal's like, that's not what I said. You're putting words in my mouth, man. And
Hal Jordan seems way more noble in this than he has in.
He's very
stuff.
noble. Yeah, in the other book, he was like drunk driving, being an asshole.
Yeah.
Except for he's killing his friends and stealing their rings.
Yeah, like luckily that doesn't happen in this book. Thank God. King Faraday also mentions we have a team called the Challengers of the Unknown, and yeah, I want to join. And he's like, your friend is a part of that. There's also a Superman and a Wonder Woman. And recently we found out that there was like a Gotham Observatory, like a lab, and a guy had a heart attack there. And we found these footprints that are not human, and they're Martian Manhunter's footprints. And King Faraday's like, there is other life. We probably don't even need to go to space because they're already here. But we're going to go to space anyway.
Just as like a publicity.
Just as a publicity thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I want you. Like, we're going to Mars and I want you to pilot.
Mars, that's a big jump.
Yeah, they're like,
okay.
we're not going to the moon, we're going to Mars.
Yeah. We know what's on the moon. It's rocks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who cares? So then Martian Manhunter is looking through like the cult's book and the necklace. He finds out that you can put the necklace on.
So can Superman breathe in space?
Yeah. Sometimes.
Why don't they just send Superman? He works for the government, right? Why doesn't he just send Superman into space to go to Mars?
Because they want Superman for more like war type things,
Okay.
not for. Even though they could just send him to space, but they
And
don't.
he'd be back in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, but they don't do that.
Okay.
So Martian Manhunter's learning more of like the center and finds out the center.
So they know about the center.
Well,
just from what
Martian
they've
Manhunter.
gathered from-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Martian Manhunter and Batman, I guess Batman knows, But this is all Martian Manhunter really doing the work, and
Oh, okay.
how a long time ago there were Vikings.
Oh, this is from the book that they found.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
There are Vikings back then, and the Viking man, he came in contact with the center. What?
Nothing. I found Gorilla Grodd, I think.
Yeah, Gorilla Grodd's here.
Yeah.
But so there were Vikings who found out about the center, and the center was here like millions of years ago, and now it's trying to leave, but dinosaurs are coming out of it.
Yeah.
And so, and it's not like the
islands can't move.
It's not really like it's an island, but it will fly. Like
Okay.
it's
more or less like Gamera from the old Godzilla movies. It kind of just like
yeah.
jets around.
Okay.
So Martian Manhunter learns of what the center is, and meanwhile in Central City in 1958, probably the same time.
Yeah.
Like, just filling you in what the date is. The Flash is taking care of Gorilla Grodd, or he shows up to fight Gorilla Grodd, but then
Dude, Gorilla Grodd has a stellar cape in this.
he does.
Oh,
Gorilla
yeah.
Grodd and like a mustache.
Yeah.
Gorilla Grodd
Yeah.
looks awesome. He
He
has
looks
like a
cool.
necklace. And the Flash shows up to take him down, but it's not really Gorilla Grodd. It's like a robot that King Faraday and the government set up to catch the Flash. Because literally, because not only do they want to learn about space, King Faraday's kind of catching like metahumans to learn more about like their kind. Not that they're all
like copy and paste that.
sure do whatever experiments he can on like their powers, and the Flash could run at the speed of sound or light.
Yeah.
He could be useful. He could be a great
I mean,
soldier.
obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
Until he destroys the timeline with his toes.
I mean, he could disarm an entire army in like a second.
He could.
Yeah.
And they catch him with a net, and Flash just
Who's in it?
shut up. They catch Flash with this net, and King Faraday has a gun to him and is like,
Yeah.
What's with the red? You a commie?
Mm.
And Flash is like, shut up, bro. And King Faraday goes to shoot him, but Flash vibrates so fast he, gets out of the net and runs away.
That's like an elite move.
Yeah. Like, this Flash, he's on it. Like, he knows everything he could do.
So if he can if he can vibrate his body so fast that he can go through this net and not get shot by the tranquilizer thing.
How do you get the net on him?
No, well, yeah, but also like, wouldn't he just fall through the earth?
No, he can figure it out.
Everything has different density, and so if you vibrate yourself at that specific density, you can vibrate through it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like Barry Allen's kind of winging it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it worked. So.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's also a scientist, so he kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Back with Martian Manhunter, who's in like detective mode, and he's at the GCPD. He's looking into John Henry and how he was seemingly killed, and now returned as Steel,
starring Shaq.
starring Shaq. And of course, he's like, "How horrible
Is that
this
the one
is."
where he comes out of a boombox?
No, that's Kazam.
Ah.
Stop.
Wait, isn't Kazam the one where the kids become superheroes?
Shazam?
Ah,
Oh
yeah.
my
Wow.
God,
Yeah, sorry.
you're fired. So, Detective John Jones, aka Martian Manhunter's learning of John Henry.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is horrible. So the thing with Martian Manhunter, and I know you had questions, like you said you had questions
Yeah.
a few days ago. So if you want to ask me anything, you're welcome to at any time.
Okay.
But Martian Manhunter's usual shtick is he's a green Martian, and there are green and white Martians. And
Danny, are you telling me that Martian Manhunter, the Green Man,
yes,
is a green Martian?
I am Jason.
Wait,
not
what?
a white Martian?
I know. So he is a green Martian. There are the white Martians. The white Martians always try to kill the green ones. They kill
But they can all change the way they look, right?
yeah, but usually they don't need to on Mars.
It's stupid, right?
Yeah.
It's stupid.
And I mean, like,
when you can change your form, racism's kind of retarded. Oops.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, the white Martians, they might turn green to infiltrate or vice versa. The green Martians, they're pacifists. They don't
Okay.
want to fight. The white Martians are bringing the war to them.
Sure.
And also, like, I don't know.
But wouldn't they just like all turn white just to like end the war?
No, because they're not going to give up. They're not going to...
But they're pacifists, so they're not fighting anyway.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
They don't bring that up in this book.
Okay.
That's just normal DC.
Yeah.
So the other cops are like,
Can they always shapeshift, or is that a power that the Martian got by being under the red sun of the Earth?
The yellow son of the earth?
Whatever. It's
Yeah.
red to me.
I don't know.
Nah, it's kind of just that's just the
It's
Martian
just-
trope because
Okay.
Yeah.
Malfalak doesn't need the red sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
Malfalak's another Martian
He's
character.
like
you'll
Martian
meet later
Manhunter's
on.
villain. Martian Manhunter is looking into the John Henry case.
Yeah.
And the other cops are like, why do you care? Like, he's just like an African American man. Like, that's normal around here. And John is like, well, that's horrible. But then he gets called away by the other cops to this man who used to work for King Faraday and the government, who's like freaking out. He's like, there are aliens here. And Martian Manhunter's like, what? No
Says
way.
who?
Says who? And the guy's pretty much like, they're building a rocket to Mars. They're gonna send men up there. And John is like, well, they're building a rocket. I want to get back home to see my family. So I might as well...
How much does seat cost?
yeah. How much is a ticket? King Faraday shows up.
Is that Wells Fargo?
So King Faraday shows up and the guy is like, oh my god, King Faraday, get away from me. Like, you are evil. And of course the cops are like, what? This guy's crazy. Like, he's seemingly crazy. He's talking about aliens and like all this crazy shit. And King Faraday's like, oh man, like, come on, we were friends. Like, don't do this. And they take him away. And that's the end you see for this guy. But you also see Jim Gordon. Here he is.
Oh, wow.
He's in this very little.
His mustache is not very big.
It is not.
It's like the beginnings of his
Not very
mustache.
J.K.
Yeah. He's still, this 1940s, he's still growing it out. So King Faraday is planning to go to Mars, and Martian Manhunter catches wind of it, and he's like, I gotta get to that shit.
And that's where we'll pick up next time. This book's pretty long, so we're going to split it up into 2 parts. Listen to the next episode to hear the end of this story.
Yeah. New Frontier.
Next week on
Next week on
the Show Podcast.
Yes. Please come back.